Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna go over all of the details that you're gonna know for your next trig exam. And this is the second part of my review session for the trig unit. If you like my video, please subscribe and leave comments below. I would like to hear your thoughts of my videos. So let's dive deep into it. In the last part, we reviewed the angle measures, the definitions, the basic identities, and the Pythagoreans, all of the things. So in this video, we're also gonna cover some basic topics. So we're starting from the special right triangles. Okay, so there's actually two types of special right triangles. First one is the 45, 45, 90. And the second one, you guessed it, it's 30, 60, 90. For the first triangle, I'm just gonna draw a brief picture for this. Okay, so this is 1, 1, and root 2. And this will be 60 degrees, 30 degrees, 2, 1, root 3. Okay. And yeah, so just remember these are the basic special triangles that you're at least have to familiarize with them. Otherwise, when you're met with these type of questions, you probably have a hard time to apply like the sines and cosines and tangent to get the corresponding angles or sides. So yeah, so these triangles are important. Just be familiarized with them. And the next part is the reference angle. Okay, so the reference angle, the definition for this is basically angle formed by terminal side and nearest x-axis. Yep. So for example, if this is an angle that you're gonna have to they're asking you for the degrees, then what you're trying to do is this is the x-axis and this is the terminal side of the angle. So what you're really trying to find is this angle, and this is your reference angle. Okay, and the next part will be oblique triangles. Okay, so for this part, there's several different topics that I want to cover. So first is the law of sines. So basically this is this topic applies to any any triangles other than right. So the triangles can look like this, it can be looking like this, it could be looking like this, like all that stuff. Okay, so law of sines, this applies to angle side and angle side angle. So basically when the known angles are more than the known side, you're gonna have to use the law of sines. So that's a tip that helped me remember when to use these formulas. And this is the formula for law of sine. Yep. Okay. Next one, law of cosine. And this is applied to side, 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 and side angle side triangles. So basically when your given sides is greater than the given angles, then it's the time to use the law of cosines. And this, even though I know a lot of the textbooks gives you 3 different formulas, but for me, the only formula I have to know is only one. And the other two, like the b squared and c squared, just basically you're doing the same thing, but just for different angles, the different sides. Okay, and so yeah, so basically that's it. And the last one but not least is the ambiguous case. Yeah, I hate ambiguous case, huh? But it's also fun, it's also important. And ambiguous case is when it's angle side side or side side angles. So this can be handled by either method. Okay. But for the most of the parts, when the question is asking for the side, then it's time for use law of cosine. And when it's asking for the angles, then it's time to use law of sines. Okay, so these are the two rules that are summarized by myself. Really helpful to use when you're dealing these problems. Okay, and yeah, so these are all of the things in oblique triangles part. And then let's move on to area, which also in this case stands for K. Okay, so there's actually 3 types of formulas when we are trying to solving for areas. So first one is the most common one, and I think probably most of you heard it very long ago, is the basic formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 times base times height. And the second one is 1/2 times AB. AB, it stands for like 2 known sides, and sine C. Okay, and also there's really an important key part to remember, that you have to know that A and B and C, like C is in between side A and B. Okay, if C is like in here or in here, then there's no way to apply this formula to dealing with the areas. Okay, so only in here. Really important. Okay, and the same thing as for BC sine A, AC sine B. Okay, and the last one is the hero's formula. Yeah, it's very cool. I love its name, and it's basically this. It's writing like this, and S in here, it stands for the semi-perimeter. And what a semi-perimeter means is basically just like semi means half, and perimeter is just all of the sum of the sides. So to get a semi-perimeter, it's basically A plus B plus C divided by 2. Okay, so this is the formula to get S. And yeah, I think all of these concepts is useful for all of your exams, and most of your exams will cover all of these concepts, like at least not like out of bounds for these concepts. I think that's very detailed. And the bonus round, okay, thank you for the guys like didn't leave. Okay, and if you want to take a picture or like just to jot these notes down, like please do it. Feel free to take pictures for this or take a screenshot for this. Okay, so bonus round. I really don't know how to spell it. Is it right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, thank you. Bonus round. Okay, so when we're talking about like when we're graphing for the like the inverse sines and inverse cosines and inverse tan, all of that stuff, there's restrictions. So the restrictions means that the trig functions have to be 1-to-1. Okay, so this is really useful when we are applying to drawing the pictures of the inverse functions. So for the sine of x, the restrictions will be, restrict domain will be between negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. And for the cosecant, which is 1 over sine, will be same thing, but x cannot be 0. Okay, so really important to keep in mind for this. And the tan of x will be negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. So not equal here, okay? So a lot of students miss this every year because they forgot there's like vertical asymptotes that you can never touch on. So remember, vertical asymptotes can never touch on. Horizontal asymptotes, however, there's some exceptions for this. You probably can across it, but not for vertical asymptotes, ever. Okay, and then the cosine of x will be 0 and pi. Secant of x will be same thing, but x cannot be pi over 2. Okay, very important detail. Cotan of x between 0 and pi. Okay, so these are all of the key restrictions for the trig functions when we are trying to graph it for the inverse function of it. And these are the domains that for the one-to-one functions that you have to remember, like especially when you're dealing with some like enhanced problems or like higher level problems, that you have to know these in order to graph the inverse functions. Okay, yep, so this is for all of the things that I think will be covered in your test, and if it's not all of it, then definitely most of it. So I really appreciate your watching for these videos, and thank you for subscribing, and keep a follow along, and I'll see you next time. Hope you have a great day.